Hello and welcome to the very first real episode of Idol Fancast. We are a fan cast because we are fans of American Idol, and this is going to be streamed live through Google Hangout as well as on Ustream, and it'll come out in many other forms, podcasts, etc. on Apple after the fact. So what we're going to do on this show is we're going to start about a half hour before. We're running a little bit late today, before the results, the live results show every week. And we're going to talk about the performances of the American Idol singers. So this is the week where we go from 20 to 10. So we're going to eliminate 10 people this week. And if you watched this week, we had one night for the girls and one night for the boys. And I must say that this year, the girls are pretty good. I actually probably should have, if it was me, I would have been keeping them a little bit more than 5. I think I had 6 that really stood out to me. And as far as the boys go, there's only like 3, maybe 4 that stood out to me. So let's go through the girls real quick. First, we had Zonette. And this is one of mine to go home. I'm not quite sure how she got this far. I mean, she seems like a nice person and all, but I don't think American Idol was the show for her. So we'll go down through the list here. Randy Jackson, he basically said that was a mess. And I must agree with that one. She was pitchy, and like I said, in my point of view, it was just bad. Time to go home. I'm not quite sure how she got this far along. Then we had Brianna up next, and it was okay, but there was no wow moment. I mean, it was just okay. It wasn't horrible. It was on tune. It was in tune and everything. So we'll see how America votes with her. And let's see, what did the judges say about her while I'm here? Nicki Minaj, straining throughout performances, disagrees with Keith Urban. I didn't take notes to what he actually said. Randy Jackson, safe but cool song choice. Tenderness in the song, but no big moments. And I agree. Again, that's what I said. There was no big wow moments in that song. And Mariah Carey basically said she agrees with Randy for the most part. That was a quick one for her. All right, so then we have Aubrey. And she did Big Girls Don't Cry by Fergie. And it was good. Keith Urban, loved the vibrato. And Nicki Minaj, I just overall love you. Typical Nicki Minaj, loves everybody. Randy Jackson, loved the vibrato too. Similar to Rihanna. He goes, I am a fan. So Randy Jackson's a fan. Then we have Mariah Carey, multi-platinum potential. So Aubrey was good. Most of the comments were vague, but overall, liked them. And we had Janelle Arthur, the blonde country singer. I did not know the song she was singing, so I didn't look at that. It was a country song, much better than the week before. And I mean, just a big difference. It was a good week to have a good performance. Keith Urban loved it. Good performance. Nicki Minaj, you're back here, Nicki Minaj, this is what she says. You're back. A little marshmallow I want to eat. Best vocal of the night so far. The sky's the limits for you. And Randy Jackson, we like you. We love the old throwback thing in your voice. Kind of Patsy Cline-like. And then Mariah Carey said she's America's sweetheart. And then we had Tina Torres. She did a Faith Hill song, a ballad. To me, it sounded kind of screechy. My wife said she screeched into the notes, is the way she put it. Keith Urban said she did a good job. Don't let the cameras pull your emotions. It was good control, good voice control. Nicki Minaj, you're very pretty, which means you didn't sing very good probably. She also said lick your boobs too, which was an interesting comment. And professional when you sing, you believe the words when you sing, love hearing you sing, not sure your personality jumps out. That's what Nicki Minaj said. That was a long thing from her. A little weird with some of the comments there, though. Beginning, Randy Jackson. The beginning was good, very nicely done. So you didn't comment on the end. I don't know what that really means. Does that mean that the end was not so good? Very, very possibly. Mariah Carey, you look gorgeous. Great song choice and a richness in the beginning. Here we go again with the beginning. So not many comments on the middle or the end in that case. Then we had Angie Miller. Who did a Colton Dixon song. And if I had to pick one of the girls this year, this would be my pick. She is my number one, I think, for this year as far as her ability, because she's multi-talented. She can play. She has good stage presence. She has a very unique sound to her. And I just think overall she's going to be one of the better girls, unless she really messes up in a week. But I think America's going to love her too. I'm sure a lot of the guys will like her too. She's kind of cute, so that'll play for her advantage some as well. She's definitely in the top 5 no matter what. I think this year she's probably right now my number 1 pick to win. Keith Urban said, "That was beautiful, a true artist." Nicki Minaj, "The trumpet should sound when you walk in the room, little girl. You have a signature sound. Can I just get your album? I love what you do." Randy Jackson said, "America, a star is born. She is going places. Feels like I'm at your show." And Mariah Carey, "I was so happy to have you back at the piano." So good. So next we had Amber Holcomb. And again, this is another person that I think is in my top 5. She did "I Believe in You and Me" by Whitney Houston, and she did a really good job at it. Good voice control. Keith Urban, "Good Song for You." Tone is exquisite. Nicki Minaj, "That was a $10 billion or whatever. Your vocals are surpassing the competition. Love the runs." And then Randy Jackson, "Amber's in it to win it." So there's Randy Jackson, the "in it to win it" statement. "Just so proud of you." And then Mariah Carey, it said she's one of the favorites. And then we went to another country singer, Kree Harrison. She did a Faith Hill song. Another one of my top 5, I think. We'll see how it works out today, and we'll see how good I guess this stuff. Good voice. Keith Urban, "I love to hear you sing." Did it effortlessly. Nicki Minaj, "You're my wife." Another weird Nicki statement. And it keeps on going. "Your sexiness level went up another notch. Tone is so rich. Favorite tone out of all the girls. I'm obsessed." Randy Jackson, "Another one in it to win it. Such a natural, big range." And Mariah Carey, "How can you top that? Every single time we see you, you give us an experience, always surprised." And after Kree came Adriana Latanya. Keith Urban, "Nervous about song choice." Nicki Minaj, "Come back next year." Didn't connect, so she basically saying go home if it means come back next year. Randy Jackson, "Very safe in pageanty." Mariah Carey, "Enjoyed the last performance," which means I didn't really like this performance. So it's just a nice way of saying it didn't go good. And then the last of the girls is Candice Glover. And another one in my top 5. I think she'll be in the top 5. Good voice control, great range. Keith Urban says, "I love your blend. Old soul sound, but so now." Nicki Minaj didn't say a thing. She just saluted to her. And Randy Jackson, "Ridiculous," meaning good. Crazy range, one of the best in the whole competition. And Mariah Carey, "Thank you for sharing your gift. Goosebumps." So that was the girls. That was on Tuesday night. That was a 2-hour show. And I think when I say 3 or 4 of those, I think are on my top 5. One of them, to me, really, really stands out this year. So we'll see how she does. I don't have the same detailed notes on the boys. I did watch the boys. Let me see, get the names here. Go through some of the songs that they did. While I'm doing this, if you're watching on Ustream, if you can go to our Hangout, it's broadcasting live on YouTube tonight, and it will be for the next, 12 weeks or so until American Idol ends. And you can get in there, and I'd love to have you connect with us, and we'll bring you up on the stream right here, and you can talk to us and give us your opinions. Like I said, we're going to do this every Thursday, half hour before the results shows start. And you can also join us in the chat room and watch the Ustream live just by going to tech-zen.tv and click on the live link at the top, and you can get the stream and the chat room both right there. So I'd love for you to come in and chat with me, and we will keep going through the live results show tonight. but we will not talk as much as we are prior to the live results show. So let's bring up the boys' information here. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but there is an American Idol app now. I'm actually going to go there to get some of this information because it's very cool. Oh, live countdown even. 11 minutes and 43 seconds till the show comes live. Here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to airplay this. Not what I wanted to do. Okie dokie. So let's go back into American Idol. I'm just going to go switch to this. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is the American Idol app. And you can see we're 11 minutes and counting from the live show. And I'll just scroll through here and see if I can get the boys. Contestants, there it is. I know I saw it somewhere. All right, so let's go through these. Was this year's or last year's? Yeah, it's this year's, but this is more than what's currently still here. This is all of them. Here we go, top 20. This will do it for me. All right, so this is not going to be in the exact order that they went last night, but here we have Burnell Taylor from Baton Rouge. Didn't stand out to me last night. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, here's one that needs to go home. This one needs to go home. He was an angry singer last night. I can't even explain it. I had a loss for words. I mean, with the wife beater t-shirt that he had on and the ponytail and the thing hanging from his ear, it just didn't work. And actually, I'm not quite sure how I got this far, because to me, Charlie just doesn't have what it takes. He's not there yet. He maybe gets there in the future, but this year he does not have what it takes to continue on. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna go. CORTEZ Shaw, he was actually pretty decent. I don't think he may be in the top 5, because I don't think I picked 5 guys to actually make it on through. I think I only had 3 that really stood out to me. Let's see. Finch Jr. definitely stood out to me. Definitely stood out. I believe he's the worship leader, if I can remember correctly. And he had some pretty crazy notes. I'm not sure his song choice was the best for yesterday, but from what he did in his range and everything, I think with the right song, he would just knock it out of the park. I believe he was in my top 5. Okay, Elijah, I wasn't impressed. He's one that, in my opinion, he could fall in the top 5 because I didn't have 5, like I said. But I wasn't overly impressed by Elijah. He was the first one last night. Devin Velez, yes, like him. He is definitely in my top 5. The song he did for the show yesterday was pretty amazing, actually. He is probably my top guy this year, at least so far. I mean, it always changes when they get in the middle of the show and they get the people that are coaching them every week, and some of them either can't take the pressure and all the time it takes to do it, and they just start backing out. But as of right now, he's probably my number one guy. And let's see, Lazaro, he's another one, and it's amazing. I mean, how well he sings, even with a speech impediment, and I think he definitely deserves to go forward. It's pretty amazing. He's definitely one of my top 5. And again, it all changes after this week because the pressure comes on when we hit this. So, and let's see, who else do we have? Nick. I actually kind of like Nick. I like what he did with the piano. The fact that he sat at the piano and played. I think he's the only guy that has the mixture of talent that I think is needed for the show. Can his voice hold it? I don't know. I think his showmanship is going to take him a little bit farther. I think he'll be in the top 5 just because of that. So we'll see that tonight. Actually, he's 27, so it's probably his last year to make it. I think the cutoff is 27 with American Idol. Paul Jolley. It just doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't do it. And then he said he wanted to be a country singer, and he doesn't sound country to me. So I'm not quite sure if he knows who he is yet, and that always makes a difference, because when you know who you are, you know what you're trying to do, and it just feels like he doesn't know what to do yet. I mean, he says he's country, but I don't hear the country in his voice, and he's not doing things country-like. So I don't know. Again, not one of my favorites. He wouldn't be in my top 5, and that's Paul Jolley. And let's see, Vincent Powell, not bad. He was the last one that sang yesterday. I would think he'd probably be in one of my top 5. He'd probably be number 5, 4 or 5. He's definitely not one of my top 3, but I think he probably deserves to go through. And let's see. Well, Zanette, we already talked about. She needs to go. I had to miss a guy somewhere. That wasn't 10 guys. Well, maybe it was 10 guys. I guess that was 10 guys. I don't remember. Can't think of 10 guys already. Well, I did CORTEZ. CORTEZ didn't stand out to me. I think that's the whole thing with him. Just didn't stand out. Was it Burnell kind of stood out to me. If I remember the right song. So going back to my top 3 are Devin Velez. He's like my number 1 guy. My number 2 guy is going to be Lazaro. And my 2 and 3 are kind of together. Curtis Finch Jr. and Lazaro are my 2 that are like tied for 2 and 3. Then I would say Nick Boddington and Vincent Powell are my 4 and 5, and not necessarily any particular order there either. So that's the guys for the week. And I actually didn't take any comment. I didn't take any notes on what comments and everything they were. So I can't really tell you what the judges said about them, but that was just from me watching it last night. Unfortunately, I didn't have a computer in front of me to take notes like I did on the girls' night. And the guys were on Wednesday, another 2-hour show. And tonight's show, I'm not quite sure if it's a 1 hour or a 2 hour. I guess we'll find out in the next 3 minutes or so, because we are now at 2 minutes and 55 seconds to the show starts, according to the iPad app. If you have an iPad, I will tell you this app is kind of neat. It's a little confusing with all the pictures and stuff like that to find things. It's like one big scrolling mess of stuff. So I can't quite get used to it. It's like the front page, I just keep scrolling around different things, and it just keeps going and going and going. So, but it's kind of neat. The fact that I can go in here and look up information. I can actually vote. I did vote this week on here. So that's kind of neat. And I'm sure as the weeks go on, it'll be very helpful to me to make comments on things as well. But if you have it. So we are, let's see. We're 2 minutes away from the live show. And like I said, during the live show, we will talk some, probably mainly during the commercials. And depending on what network you're watching it on, like I'm watching it over DirecTV, we could be off in, a little bit of time because of the delivery method. But if you would like to give a comment, love to have you come into the Hangout and give us your opinions on what's going on. Now we'll comment through the show as well as things that are going on. So let me go back over here. So I cannot obviously broadcast sound or audio from the show. I do have a TV in front of me, and I have in-ears in here that I'm listening to the show at the same time, so I can kind of comment as it goes along, but it would not be legal for me to broadcast anything from the show. So all most I can do is comment on it live. And if you're watching this show on the edited version, which would be like the podcast or on Roku or something like that, you're actually going to see it's not going to be as long as the live show. It's going to be cut down because when we're in the middle of the show, I'm going to not talk very much, and I'm just going to go through and cut that stuff out in the final version. So you're going to hear a half hour before and an hour after some comments, or as long as we can afterwards. I imagine this first week is going to be kind of light until we get the following going, so it might be a whole hour. But you will just get a version of it that is much shorter, and especially during the live show, I'll cut out a lot of those big pause areas and then focus back on afterwards and before. So if it's like tonight's show, I think it's only an hour, but so it won't be a 2.5 hour podcast. It'll be probably an hour and a half at most, or something similar to that. So. Also want to remind you, we do have a chat room. Right now, I am the only one in it. Like I said, this is only our very first show. So this will hopefully get more popular as we continue to broadcast this show every week. We have not even pushed it to iTunes yet. We wanted to get the first week in. So tomorrow I will officially submit this to iTunes, and that'll hopefully gain some of our following. Right now, we're only broadcasting it on Ustream and through Google Hangout. And it will be out like on Roku as soon as it's published as well. All right, so the show has started. All right, we're at our first commercial break during the live show. And so far, gone through is Paul Jolley and Burnell Taylor. And actually, I was a little surprised by Paul Jolley. He wasn't one of the top 5 that I would have picked. Burnell was in the top 5. So I'm kind of curious which one of my other top 5 isn't going to be in the top 5. But I will say that both of them did great with their songs they did after they won there. So after they got told they were in the top 10, they came out and sang a song, a victory song they were calling it, and they both did very good. Actually, I think they both did better than last night. So, and Paul Jolley, I was impressed with what he did for his victory song, much better than we did last night. So, but last night did get him through. I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, now he's going to get a lot more coaching on things, so he may just improve. Fine, we'll find out. But I am curious now which one of the top 5, or my top 5 that I picked, isn't going to make it through. So that's coming up. That's 2 of the 5 guys that are going to make it through. Just right there. I will say they're doing it slightly different this year. A little interesting, actually. The fact that they are letting them in a room in the back and telling them in the back if they've won or not, and then bringing them out. I don't know if they'll bring the last 6 out and just pick the one, or how they'll do that. We'll see that coming up here soon, I'm sure. But I don't know if we're going to go to the girls next, or if we're going to keep with the guys until the guys are all done. Just a reminder, while we're at this commercial break, you want to watch live, you can go to TechZen, that's tech-zen.tv. Click the live link at the top. You can get live streaming out of Ustream, as well as you can chat with us in the chat room. We also are, if you go to the chat room, I just pasted a link in there not too long ago, the link to the live stream that is on YouTube as well. And if you would like to chat with us via Hangout, Google Hangout, we'd love to have you do that. But from what I can tell, it looks like I have to invite you to do that. So if you just go into the chat room and tell me what your ID is, I will go ahead and put you in, and I'd love to have you come and talk with me. I'm going to have to do a little research this week on how that actually is supposed to work. I thought I could have anybody come in and make it a public, and I can't tell if it's public or not. And if it is, I can't tell you how to go join it. So a little research is necessary this week. This is our first show, our first live show. We did a pre-show the week before when we tried to get down to the top 20. And we were trying to work out some of the kinks. We worked out the bulk of the kinks, I believe, except for maybe the hangout, which will get better when we do it. All right, we're back at commercial one more time with American Idol, and they have one more guy, Curtis Finch Jr., and his victory song was pretty good too. That nice falsetto that he has there. So that there is 2 of my 5. So I do have one that's going to not make it, obviously, out of my 5. But we'll see who that is. So far, 2 of the 5. We have 2 more to go. All right, we're another commercial for American Idol. Just announced Devin Velez is through. He was another one of my top 5. Actually, he's my number 1 of the boys. So far, I have 3 of my top 5 with 1 more person to go. I know I'm definitely going to lose one because the first, or was it Paul or Jolley, I did not have in my top 5. If you're watching this live and you're wondering what's going on, we are actually Idol Fancast, and we start a half an hour before the live show, the live results show, and we're going to continue afterwards for as long as we can. This is our very first results show episode. We did one pilot episode last week to do some testing and work out the kinks of and everything. But every Thursday now at the American Idol results, starting a half hour before, we're going to talk about the show for the week, and we're going to comment through the show. However, if you're listening to this and you're listening after the fact, a lot of the quietness in between the show we're going to cut out. But if you're watching live, you're wondering what are we waiting for, it's because we don't really want to talk over the show. We want to talk mainly before and after and just make comments through the show. So if you're watching live, you can kind of keep us around on the computer, and we won't interrupt the show except for during the commercials. So that's what we're trying to do here. And we also have a chat room and also have a live Ustream. You can get all of that is you go to tech-zen.tv, and you can watch and chat live. And if you want to talk to us, we'd love to have you do it. Not even in the chat room, but we also are doing a Google Hangout, and you can join the Google Hangout, and we will put you live on the air and give us your opinion. So that's what we're trying to do. And during the commercials, we'll do a little update like we just did. They just announced the 4th of the 5 guys going to make it through. That one is Devin Velez. So far, we've had Burnell Taylor, Paul Jolley, Curtis Finch, and Devin Velez. So we have 1 more of the boys to go, and then we'll go through the 5 girls. All right, we're at our next break. The 5 guys have been picked, and they are Burnell Taylor, Curtis Finch Jr., Devin Velez, Lazaro Arbos, and Paul Jolley. So that means going home is Nick Boddington, which was my number 5 in my top 5, and Vincent Powell. And that also sends CORTEZ Shaw home, Charlie Askew, and there's 1 more I'm missing, Elijah Liu. So that is it. I mean, we have our top 5 guys picked. Our first hour is basically over of American Idol's live results show, picking the top 10 from the top 20. This is our very first live episode that goes through Idol Fancast, and it goes through the entire, starts about half an hour before and goes through the entire results show, and we'll broadcast afterwards, and you can watch us on YouTube live through a Google Hangout broadcast, on Ustream live by going to tech-zen.tv, and you can also chat with us in the chat room. We also invite you to join in the Google Hangout, and we'll push you on the air, and you can give us your opinion on the results. During the show, we don't talk a lot, just during the commercials, give you updates of what's going on, which is where we are right now. And again, we just picked the top 5 guys. And 4 of my 5 top ones didn't make it through. Paul Jolley was not in my top 5, but he made it through. And the one person that I had in my top 5, which was Nick BODDINGTON, did not make it through. But 4 of my 5 had made it through. Let's see how I do with the girls. All right, we're at our next break, and we have our first girl, one of my top 5, Janelle Arthur. Still have 4 more girls to go, though. So you're watching or listening to, depending on where you are. Like if you're on Stitcher, you're obviously going to be listening to this. But you are watching or listening to Idol Fancast, and it's a show that we start a half hour before every Thursday results show on American Idol. We broadcast live through the results show, and the commercial breaks like we are right now. We're breaking in and giving you what's happened. And this will, if you're watching live, it's going to be quiet during the show so you can enjoy the show. But if you're listening to this or watching it post-production, it's going to be much shorter, and you're just going to hear me talking and giving results at the commercials. And we will stay on the air for a little while after. We're trying to keep it to an hour after, but it could be longer. And I think initially this is our very first live show or live results show. It'll probably be kind of short today because we haven't really caught on yet. So as we catch on, that hopefully will get longer. You can watch live every Thursday by going to tech-zen.tv and clicking the live link at the top. You also have a live chat room. You can come in and chat with us. And I'm actually watching the chat room as well as I'm watching for people to come into our Hangout or Google Hangout, because we are broadcasting live on YouTube. And you can come in to the Hangout, and we can put you in the show and give us your opinions. Now, I imagine this week being our very first week, we probably won't have anybody show up, but that's fine. That will grow in time. All right, here we are again at a commercial break in our live results show on American Idol, and we've had 2 this time. Candice Glover and my number 1 pick for the girls is Angie Miller, and she has made it through as well. And Candice Glover was also in my top 5. So far, the 3 people that have made it through are 3 of my top 5. We'll see how I do with the last 2. So that means we have now 3 girls that are in the top 5 and going through. Again, there's Angie Miller, Candice Glover, and Janelle Arthur. So we'll see. My other strong number in the top 5 was Kree Harrison. We'll see how she does. And then my other top 5 was... Where is it? Is it Adriana, Latanya? Oh, no, Amber Holcomb. Amber Holcomb. So we'll see. Kree and Amber are the 2 I still have left to see what happens with. All right. I'm back at the commercial break again, and I am 4 for 4. Amber Holcomb was the 4th girl to make it through, and I am 4 for 4 on one of my top 5. I have 1 more, and if Kree Harrison makes it through, I am 5 for 5 for the girls. I was 4 for 5 for the boys. The most important ones for the boys that I had picked, my number 1 boy definitely made it through. And my number 1 girl has already been picked as well. So my number 1 girl right now is Angie Miller. She is all around talented, and puts on a good show and a great voice. And she like 2 other girls has gotten standing ovations from the judges. So none of the boys got standing ovations from the judges, I don't think, if I remember correctly. Which kind of goes along with what I said. This year, I think the girls are going to be the ones that win it, because the girls are standouts this year compared to the boys. I really only had 3 boys that stood out to me. So my top 5, what I thought were the top 5 best. I didn't get to one of them. The one that came through that I didn't pick was Paul Jolley. I just didn't think he had it. But he did a good job tonight in his victory song. So maybe he'll do good. So I don't know if they're trying to finish the show in an hour and a half tonight or 2 hours. They only got 4 minutes to finish it in an hour and a half. They might do that though. I don't see they're gonna get another half hour out of the last person here. If the show is over in a few minutes here, we will actually go into our post-show discussion, which I imagine won't take very long tonight, considering this is our very first live show during results. Our pre-show last week with our test runs and everything is up there, but this is the first time we've actually published anything, and it'll be the first time it goes out as a broadcast. So our community is still very, very new, and it's just a few people that we know hanging around, so I don't think it'll be a very long discussion. It could just be me talking to myself tonight, but hopefully starting next week when we get this out to all the different broadcast directories like iTunes and Zunes, even we'll put the Zunes too, Blackberries and stuff like that. The Roku channel will have it up tonight as well, so hopefully next week we get a little bit more of a following. All right, that is it for the live show for this week. We got our top 10 American Idol. Let's do a real quick rundown. Let's go through the girls first. We have Amber Holcomb, Angie Miller. Let me get over here so I can read it. Candice Glover. Let's see. Kree Harrison and Janelle Arthur. So that's the 5 girls. Now, my number 1 girl was Angie Miller, and my close second to her was Kree Harrison. So both of my close top 2s did make it through. In fact, my top 5 was girls, all made it through. I got a 5 for 5 on the girls, and I got a 4 for 5 on the boys. On the boys, we have Burnell Taylor, Finch Jr., Devin Velez, Paul Jolley, and Lazaro Arbos. So my Devin Velez is my number 1 boy for this year, at least so far. He seems like he's knocking it out of the park. He's doing great. Paul Jolley did a good job tonight on his victory song, but Lazaro struggled a little bit tonight. So I know if you watched the live show, you saw when he went out, he was talking to the band leader, telling him they didn't know the end of the song, so that may have been part of that. But all the victory songs were great tonight. And the girls, 3 of the 5 girls got standing ovations from the judges. So that's pretty awesome. Let me turn Glee off in my ears. All right, Glee's gone now. All right, so then we have our top 10. And starting next week, we will again bring Idol Fancast live a half hour before the results show. I believe next week does start the 1 hour results shows. I was not aware it was an hour and a half tonight. I'm just glad it wasn't 2 hours. That would have been a long stretch to stretch it out. So if you're listening to this or watching it post-production, you're going to have this much, much shorter than if you were watching it live with us, because all of the time during the show that I'm not really commenting because I'm watching the show and I don't want to interrupt other people that are watching the show, I'm going to cut out. So it's going to make this considerably shorter. If you're watching live, you can always join us in the chat room. We'd love to have you in the chat room at a minimum, just so you can give comments as well, and we can comment back. It's tech-zen.tv, and then when you get there, click on the live link at the top, and there's a link to the chat room. You can also watch us live on Ustream, and we do broadcast this every week live on YouTube using Google Hangouts, and we can have up to 9 guests in Google Hangouts. So if you would like to give comments, we'd love to have you in the Hangout, and we will put you live on the air, and we can talk about your opinions and what your thoughts, who you like, who you don't like, why, etc. Because I know my opinion is, just the one opinion. So I will say that I think this year's gonna be a girl winner, and like I said, my top 2 girls are Kree Harrison and I can't remember. I'm bad with names, as you can tell. Kree or Angie Miller. And Angie has a all-around talent. She can play the piano. She's engaging. She has a lot of the stage presence. I do think Kree Harrison has a very warm voice. That's what's going to take her far. Her vocal quality is very nice. It's very well-rounded, very warm. It makes you feel all warm all over. So I think those two are the two girls to look out for. There's only one boy I really think we should be watching, and the one guy that went through, Paul Jolley. So far, I have not been impressed. Tonight he did a good job, and I'm not sure if he's getting the girl vote because he's cute or what it is, but we'll figure all that stuff out. That's just part of the games that happens with American Idol. But I think we have this year some great talent. I would have had a hard time with being the judges, like going through some of these people. So overall, there are a few that shouldn't have been in the top 20. It's no offense to them, but like Charlie ASKEW, I don't think should have made it to the top 20. I don't think Zanette Johnson should have made it to the top 20 either. I just don't think they have what it takes. I'm not quite sure how they got that far, if it was just part of the things that happen with American Idol that gets them, viewers and controversy and stuff like that. So, like I said before, this is our very first show. So I actually have nobody. I have viewers watching live on both Ustream and YouTube, but I have nobody in the chat room to talk with me, and I have nobody in the Hangout to talk with either. So in those cases, we're going to end the show, and hopefully as we become a little bit more popular, this being our first week, and we're not even on iTunes or anywhere like that yet. We will be after tonight. Hopefully we start picking up some viewers and we get some more interaction. So I expect these shows to get longer as they go, as we do more of them. So I'm not going to keep the show. It was kind of long tonight because it was an hour and a half. Even though we did a pre-show, about 25 minutes of pre-show, and we talked about some of the shows of this week of the girls and the boys on Tuesday and Wednesday. And post-show, I have not really any comments other than what I just did, and I'll see you all next week. Just remember, go to tech-zen.tv. We can get live there. We have a bunch of other shows as well. Definitely go check them out. This is our very first fan cast, and what we're calling it is a fan cast. Don't want to call it a podcast because it's actually streamed live during the thing, and it's for Idol fans, so we figured we just call it a fan cast. It's on Roku. It's on, anywhere we do our regular show distribution, you can get this show in a post-produced format, which is going to be much shorter than watching it live. Although we'd love you to watch us live and comment and talk with other people in the chat room and join us as we watch it kind of together. It's like a big community to watch it together. At least that's our hope. So, all right, we will see everybody next Thursday night at 7:30, 1/2 hour prior to the result show. See ya.